Hello and welcome to Lady Applejack Speaks VA, a VA channel here on YouTube that focuses on the Netflix series Stranger Things. Guys, it is Thursday. It's Friday Eve, but most importantly, get ready, drum roll please. It is Thirst Trap Thursday. I had to stop and think. Thirst Trap Thursday today, and we are here with another Thirst Trap episode. Guys, if you don't have a cold drink beside you or in your hand, I am strongly advising you to go get that right now because it's about to get a little hot in here. You know what I'm saying? I wrote a surprise episode for you guys, and I don't think anybody suspects what it is. First off, it is a thirsty one. Oh my God. Ghost pepper action on this sucker is going to be 5 ghost peppers and maybe a few Poblanos thrown in. And you guys are like, I don't know, stuck on a desert island and there's like no actual like fresh water in sight. And obviously you guys don't have like a cooler or anything. So you guys are just eating these peppers to survive. And you can't drink the salt water because it'll just make you even more thirsty. And that's not a good thing either. So, yeah, you're kind of out of luck there. But I think it will be well worth it after I do the content. Oh, my God. So I have to tell you guys, I wrote this script and I was blushing as I wrote this script. It was rough. And I know I say that with every spicy video that I end up doing, but this one was like, it was exceptionally spicy. Like Guy Fieri was probably going to run up in here and like, I don't know, do whatever he does. Like, doesn't he scream like bam or pow or I don't know, he says that's money or that's fire. He was going to bust through my door and he was going to like start some shit. That's how spicy this is, okay? So, yeah, let me go ahead and just talk to you guys about what this episode is and where it came from, the origins, and I'll talk to you about the rating and all that good stuff. So, first and foremost, this was actually a request from my friend Veanna. Veanna had sent me a message the other day out on Instagram and was like, hey, I have this idea. If it sucks, you could tell me. And I was like, well, wait a second. Let's not start off with that. Let's just say I have an idea. Let me pitch it, and then we'll go from there. And they pitched this idea to me. And I was like, okay, I could see myself working with this a little bit. I could figure this one out. And the idea was to revisit our dear friends from Series 1, Small Town, which you guys know that I actually ended that series, I think it was last week. Wasn't it last Friday I did that? I said, you know, I'm going to put into the continuation of the series. However, I might come back and do fast forwards or flashbacks. And I was like, okay, this could work. I would like to do a flashback. Because honestly, guys, I miss these two so bad. I miss them. They're my babies. They're my children, you know, and I've been thinking about the Series 1. I mean, it was my starting point on this channel. It was the reason why this channel had began. So I missed them dearly. So I was super excited when I had somebody request revisiting the Series 1 season. So yes, it was just good timing. It was the best timing in the world. So what they were suggesting is that we do a somewhat spicy, maybe possibly reaction to Eddie finding out that female listener, also known as Cathy Lynn Munson, I gave her a name at the very end of the series, was pregnant with their first child, which, if you guys remember, Rosie was their first. So I remember going back a little bit and I went back and read that script a little more to see, if there is any way to finagle it in there, but I couldn't figure out the best way to do it. And then I started digging, and I was like, you know what? We never really got a chance to talk about how their son, Julian Lars, came to be, and maybe I could use this idea to my advantage. So that's what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about how Eddie finds out about Julian and about Cathy Lynn's second pregnancy, if you will. So that's what this episode's about. And guys, like I said, it is super duper spicy. I mean, the subscriber that asked for this said kind of spicy. You know what? I tried, and I took that little shaker that you keep all your spices in. I took it, and instead of just sprinkling a little bit, the whole lid fell off of it, and it just all sprinkled in the pot, and here we are. So it is spicy, which means this is a rated R episode, and rated R is obviously for strong language and sexually explicit content. Suggested age minimum is 18 plus. Listener discretion is strongly advised. And as I say before, you guys are familiar with what your auntie over here says, Auntie LAJ. I say I strongly advise you not to listen if you're under the age of 17, but I'm also fully aware that you guys are out on internet land, and I can't control what you guys do, obviously. That's my disclaimer. I'm not Steve Harrington. I'm not going to come busting down your door and say, hey, you need to be listening to, I don't know what the hell anybody listens to anymore. You need to be listening to some Veggie Tales or some shit. I'm not doing that because that's not my job. It's not my expertise. I just write these things, and I do it with love. So, yeah, take that as you will. So strongly advised. And like I said, the spice level here is 5 ghost peppers and maybe I don't know, 4 Poblanos? Maybe, possibly. Does that work for you guys? It works for me. So, and you're on a desert island. Like I said, there's not a cooler in sight with any sort of refreshments. This is your only option. And then, of course, you could drink salt water, which is not going to help you any. It's just going to parch your thirst some more. So there's that. Sorry. But yeah, anyways, that's what the rating is. And of course, the episode is episode 19, and it's a flashback special. The date in question is October 6, 1991, which would have fell on a Sunday. And this is going to be around midnight. And yeah, what else can I tell you about this? The title obviously would be good. The title is actually Hysteria When You're Near. It's based off the song by Def Leppard called Hysteria. It's one of my favorite Def Leppard songs out there. If you haven't listened to it, you need to go check it out. One of my friends actually got me hooked on Def Leppard just recently because she's a huge fan. So, she plays their stuff all the freaking time, and I happened to come in on the tail end of this song, and I was like, damn, this is a really good song. So that's kind of where this is. If you haven't listened to this song, you should. Now, some other key notes that I want to point out here is there's an Easter egg in here, and the Easter egg is actually an address. If you guys want to see the type of apartment that Eddie, Rosie, and Cathy Lynn lives in, you can actually go to the following address. It is an address in Chicago. It's 3240 North Lake Shore Drive in Chicago, Illinois, Unit 14C. And this is actually a building that is named the Wirtz Residential. It is luxury apartments that are right on Lakeshore Drive, which is like my favorite place to visit when I'm in Chicago. In fact, I'm going to go there next week. So I'll be seeing a lot of the sites that Eddie and Cathy Lynn will be technically checking out if they lived in Chicago. I can't guarantee that this place was apartments back in the 80s. I'm thinking it was, but again, I don't really know. I'm just going off of my gut here. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. They have like a little interactive virtual tour you could do of the whole building, well, that particular unit, and you can see where they live when Eddie becomes a rock star. Yes, this is when Eddie's a rock star. So without further ado, I think I talked your guys' ear off. I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the episode. I hope you enjoy it. God, it is so good to finally be home. I had been on tour for the past 2 months with Corroded Coffin. The band has finally been nonstop, or has been going nonstop, since our album hit #1 in the US and the UK charts, which is great. I'm not complaining, but in return, that meant more time on the tour bus, on airplanes, in the recording studio, and doing interviews. Cathy Lynn, Rosie, our golden doodle Fraggle, and myself just moved into our new apartment on Lakeshore, and I hadn't had much time to enjoy the perks of it. My manager had helped Cathy Lynn find this place back in June when she had expressed concerns about Rosie starting school. Rosie's 4 right now, but she's supposed to start school next year, and like any good mother, Cathy Lynn wanted to have Rosie have the best in everything, but especially education. Our old place, God, it was cramped. A small 1-bedroom in Fullertown, and if anybody knows what Fullertown's like, well, you know it's bad. Not only did we lack privacy because of a 1-bedroom apartment, it was in a really seedy neighborhood. A neighborhood that often left me concerned about Cathy Lynn and Rosie's safety. We would have jumpings and carjackings all the time in the neighborhood, robberies. It was not good. When the overseas tour was mentioned to me, I made an ultimatum with my manager. Find us a better, safer place to live, and then we'll talk about going overseas on tour. That definitely put a rush on things. After taking all my stuff out of the cab and talking to the doorman a bit, I make my way to the elevator with my bag and my guitar case, declining any help. I didn't want to waste time when it came to getting settled. All I wanted right now was to drop my bags at the door and go love on Cathy Lynn for a bit. Phone calls on the road were never really enough and not private at all. And we only saw each other once when I had a 48-hour layover in town about a month ago. As always, it went by way too fast. I unlocked the door and set my bags down in the quiet foyer. The apartment, with the time, was obviously dark, with the exception of a few night lights in the hallway where our bedrooms were. I frown when I hear a gruff bark from Fraggle, who had been sleeping on his bed in the living room. He trots over to me, excited, and I give him a gentle scrub on the top of his curly head. Hey, boy. I missed you too. But you gotta be quiet, man. I don't need you waking up your mom or your sister. Fraggle huffs at me as if out of annoyance and trots back over to his bed. I slip my leather jacket off and hang it in the coat closet before kicking off my sneakers. I double check the locks on the door, and soon I pad my way down the hall, first peeking in on Rosie. My Rosie. I smile as I see our sweet baby girl, who is not really a baby much anymore, being that she's 4. She's sleeping peacefully in her own bed, in her own room. And this is monumental. She had been scared to sleep alone at first, so it took a while to get her accustomed to the change. Lots of nights where she would simply creep into our bed when we were fast asleep. I make a mental note to make sure to lock the bedroom door for a brief moment of privacy. At last, I reach our room and carefully close the door behind me, clicking the lock. Cathy Lynn is sound asleep on her side of the bed, facing the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the lake. That was the selling point, apparently. All the stress of the tour seems to melt away at the sight of her. I strip down to my boxers, tossing my clothes over into the spare armchair by the door. And ever so carefully, I slip into bed next to her, sliding my left hand onto her hip and gently pulling her body against mine. I lightly kiss her neck and move my way down to her shoulder, kissing her only tattoo, a rose for our baby girl. We both had the same tattoo, and we got it shortly after I signed on with the record label. Kind of a celebratory thing. She moaned softly before waking with a start. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to sneak in. Her head jolts up in surprise, swishing around to see me. She smiles when she sees me staring back at her and rolls over to face me. My grin gets wider. Eds! What are you doing home? I kind of live here. Smart ass. I thought you weren't supposed to. We came home a day early. All of us wanted to surprise our families. So, surprise. You should have called. We could have picked you up at the airport. What's the fun in that? Besides, I didn't want you and Rosie to be out and about in Chicago late at night. God, I missed you. I missed you too. So much. Oh, God. And there's so much I need to talk to you about. Well, it's fine. I'm sure it will wait until tomorrow morning over breakfast. Which, by the way, I'm thinking about taking both of my girls out for breakfast tomorrow. I was thinking the Walnut Room, and maybe the two of us could do some shopping with Rosie and, whatever. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. We yeah, we definitely need some stuff. Oh, okay. Hopefully not a new coffee maker, right? I definitely need a cup of coffee before we take the day on. Oh, God, I'd hate it if the one that we bought just a few months ago is already broken. Oh, no, not quite. Oh, okay. Do we need towels? A new mixer? Some black sand bed sheets? um, I wanted to tell you in a very different way. I don't think waiting till tomorrow is going to be such a good idea, but God, you're so unrelenting. I look at her confused. I'm not sure what she's implying, but by the look in her eyes, it's serious. She bites her bottom lip, nervous, and I recognize this nervous tick of hers, and she starts blinking those doe-shaped eyes at me. The look that often gets me in serious trouble. It's my weakness. I was thinking more like some onesies, bottles, binkies. Huh? I'm pregnant. It's what? Oh, really? I How long? The layover, that night we had the place to ourselves because Rosie stayed over, with your manager's daughter, and we had drank a copious amount of that wine from the label to celebrate. Oh, yeah, that night. You were wearing that one dress that I bought you when I was in Paris. Yeah, you liked it a lot. Maybe too much. With you, it's never too much. Okay, are you mad? I mean, are you okay with this? I know it's a lot with Rosie. I mean, she's still a handful. She's just a baby herself, and your band is just now taking off. Hey, slow down. Are you kidding? Kath, baby. This is the best news to come home to. And you know what? It's even better than any award our band is ever going to get. Do you realize how badly I want to have another baby with you? I mean, yeah, I know we've talked about wanting a fairly big family. It's just we never discussed when. I nuzzle my nose against hers, pulling her closer to me. I move my left hand from her hip and gently rest it on her tummy. I know her body as well as I know my own, and I can feel the tiny curve of her stomach. I can't help but feel more attracted to her like this. Hey, I'm happy. This This is the best news, baby. But it's just as important to know if you're feeling okay. How do you feel about all this? Relieved. I was so scared when I first found out because we have so much already going on, and we just literally moved here, and I didn't know how you would feel. Well, I could tell you, I'm elated. I get to have another beautiful baby with my best friend. God, you drive me crazy. Cathy Lynn Munson. I move my lips down her throat, lightly sucking the skin as my hand continues to rub her tummy. She takes my cue and lays down on her back, letting me take control. My hand slides up her thin white nightgown to cup her chest, rubbing and lightly pinching her skin awake as I move down with my lips to her collarbone. I let her breathing dictate how to proceed. Soon I slide my hand back down her side and pull her nightgown up and soon off of her, tossing it to the floor. She smiles at me, the skyline lighting up her eyes. I nuzzle my nose against hers with mine and gently kiss her lips softly while I move my hand between her legs, massaging her through her underwear. Well, somebody missed me. Always. Why should that surprise you? Well, it does. Baby, I still don't know how I got so lucky to have you. I think I'm the one that lucked out. Agree to disagree? We're having another baby. Can you believe it? I smile down at her, kissing her with urgency before pulling her panties off and tossing them to the floor with her nightgown. I make quick work of removing my boxers as I kiss down her body, groaning as her delicate fingers curl tightly in my hair, giving it a delicious tug. Eddie, the door, it's locked. It's locked, I promise. Besides, she's sound asleep. Now, let me love you. Please? Okay. Fuck, Kath. You're so beautiful. Do you know that? Our babies. They're all going to be just as beautiful as you. Rosie RA is. And everyone adores her. I could just worship you forever. It definitely feels like you're ready. Are you? Yeah. Please. Anything for you. I carefully ease my body on top of hers, kissing a trail from her navel back up to her lips, lightly sucking her bottom lip into my mouth, nipping, and then releasing it. She shivers under me, and I can't help but smile before slowly easing myself into her. I get lost in her sighs, pressing more kisses to her parted lips, her eyelids, and her neck, keeping steady and slow, wanting to make this last for as long as possible. I can't fight back the tears of joy welling up in my eyes as I gaze at her. It's crazy. I went from a rundown trailer in Hawkins, Indiana, poor and far from being liked, to this, a palace in the sky of my very own queen, my soulmate, my best friend, and now the mother of my 2 children. And I couldn't be happier. Every heart sings a song, incomplete until another heart whispers back. Those who wish to sing along find a song. At the touch of a lover, everyone becomes a poet. Plato.